All right, somehow Jeff roped me into this project. Chris from Steeda came to help me do this project, but we're doing like this ridiculous suspension. I thought we were doing some coilovers, now we're going full on, all in. sway bar end links, toe arms, I don't even know what they're freaking called, arms with different, monoballs and stuff like that. So we're doing AST Moton coilovers, so the AST 5100 single way adjustable, and then we're doing the full gamut of Steeda stuff underneath here, right?
You got
so
it.
Jeff is going to hate his life after this because it's going to be the car's going to handle fantastically well, but. You chose this stuff so that this could be streetable still.
Exactly.
Nice.
80 to 90% track, but definitely want to keep things streetable as well. So not too much NVH, but
got it.
a little happy medium of both, right?
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to start digging into this thing. We're going to pull the brakes off and start taking stuff apart, and I'm sure I'm going to be screaming and yelling during this thing. We're going to be all greasy and nasty, and yeah, I'll quit halfway through, and then we'll let Jeff and Chris finish it up. So
yeah, no problem.
So anyway, so here's what we have. So we're going to work on the front suspension first. AST 5100 coilovers with the top hat. So we've got to check this out. I don't think that this has been torqued. So we're going to have to figure that out. So we're going to be working on dropping the front coilovers out, and then doing our monoball switch over and new arms, direct replacement, right?
Yeah. So got the spherical bearing here. Kind of helps with a little bit of the deflection in the front suspension.
Sure.
And extended ball joint as well. It's going to help correct that roll center since we're going to be lowering the car.
Got it. Okay.
On coilovers, you want to correct
so the
that
roll center adjustment is in this bushing here, and then
the extended ball joint is going to help correct that roll center.
Got it. Okay. All right. So let's start taking stuff apart. Let's go. All right, so I think we should take, let's take caliper off. Let's string it up here underneath to the frame rail, and then we'll try to hammer this rotor off so we can see what's doing here.
Sounds good.
Let's do it. By the way, we're marketing people, not mechanic. We're not mechanics here. What size do you think that is?
Learn as we go. I think
17 maybe?
It should be a 15. And we get to use all the fancy Milwaukee tools, right?
Yeah, Milwaukee and Sonic and all the good stuff. Yeah, 15 mil. Okay, you want to get that off, and then I'll get some zip ties. And take my hat off because I don't want to get it all greasy. So rather than pulling the brake lines off, we'll just hang it from the frame. I like this. It's got a couple of assistants here. That's the problem. We got 2 assistants and no foreman. Oh boy. Work. I don't think this rubber mallets
need more oomph.
Enough. Shoot.
Got it. There we go. Don't worry, we may need it for the other one. Thanks.
All right, so that opens up the whole face here. Get everything. So you think we should mess with these first?
Those are probably going to be a bit harder. We want to move these ABS lines out of the way.
Okay.
And then, something tells me it's going to be easier to take care of these while
the suspension's still in tension. All right, so let's take these off. Let's do let's see if this guy's got enough jack for it. What size is that?
15, maybe?
I don't know if this is going to have enough torque to get this off, but we're going to try. Oh, nice. Yeah. Set that there. So, should we do these one at a time, you think?
Yeah.
So let's do this part first, and then we'll do, so actually it's probably,
this is going to be bump steer. And then here, you got the one on the bottom.
Well, let's do them one at a time, see what happens. Let's get this bump steer out. The bigger question is, are we going to be able to get it back in? Okay, good. I just didn't know if it needed to
Oh, gotcha.
turn out. Okay. So then we have to pull that boot back.
Now this whole thing should turn off. So this lock nut comes away, and then we can turn this whole thing. This goes into here, up into place.
I gotcha. Okay. I've never done a bump steer kit before.
Fun fact, neither have I.
This is going to be good experience for the Civic when we do that. Was that like a 22? 24?
It's not moving.
Let's see.
I got the directions. Yeah, it says loosen that jam nut before we...
Before you take it off?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. That nut is so still going to be lefty-loosey, I think. Yeah, it's still going to turn this way, right? To come off.
Well, because when this whole collar comes off, it's still righty-tighty, lefty-loosey.
Right.
If you're going this way, you still should be righty-tighty because you'd be doing this to lock them.
Right.
Right.
This would tighten, so maybe I need to go up. Is that what you're saying? This is the part I'm not sure about. They're not going to tell us that because they assume we're not freaking idiots.
And it says do not back the nut far away from the outer tie rod, just back it off enough so it's not contacting. Because we're going to use that to measure where it is from the factory.
Let's see if we can give it a little attitude adjustment here.
It just says loosen the jam nut, that's it.
That sucker's not moving. Like it is like freaking welded on there. Maybe we get lucky. We started on the hardest part first. That's what I'm hoping. Just need to know I'm turning it the right way.
Something tells me you should be going up.
So if this turns that way.
From here, if you're turning to the right, clockwise, it's tightening. So the jam nut, to loosen it, I feel like it should be going up.
All right, well, let's try. Let's give it an old heave ho up then.
It's going. Yeah.
Good call. Jam nut goes the opposite direction, people.
Yeah, don't put it off too much, just so it breaks contact.
Got it.
Because we want to use that as a marker.
Okay.
So then this
just comes right off.
Yep. Muscle and PB blaster. There you go.
Well, I'm turning it the right frickin' way. It really wasn't that hard once I started. Okay, so there's our, whatever you call that thing.
Remove the nut that holds the outer tie rod spindle. Disconnect the tie rod from the spindle. Did that. Thread the aluminum collar of the bump steer kit onto the inner tie rod until it connects to the jam nut. Thread the steel rod end with the jam nut into the aluminum collar to make the whole assembly matches the length of the original outer tie rod, which you just said. Make sure the rod end is threaded completely into the aluminum collar. So the biggest thing is they want to make sure that this is threaded in as much as possible.
Well, that's the case, then you'd back that off more.
And make up for it here.
Or are they talking about this being threaded in as much as possible? I wonder, will this bottom out ever?
It will eventually.
Now, how do all these things go? All those,
So these are tapered.
well, why are there so many washers there in the middle? Are they supposed to stay there where they are?
Yes, that's to raise the point up. There it goes.
We can come in.
And you got the washer for the top. The Nylock.
Yeah, I guess you're right. This does change your toe. That's your front toe adjustment. Because as you do this, see how it pulls? It pulls this in or out. Let's see if everything loose, so we can figure out, do we need to take this off to get that out?
Right.
All right, so we got this, and we got that. And then, hope we don't have to dump the oil filter to get that, get my Milwaukee tools all dirty. Wow, this thing is legit. Oh, M12 sucker.
Nice.
It's nasty. There we go. Now, what size is that thing? Maybe it's a 24 like the other one. Let's see. That would make sense.
Of course.
I'm an idiot. Now that's a fixed bolt. It doesn't even need the 24.
Now we hammer from the bottom.
It might just come out. Nope.
That would be too easy.
Yeah, that's isn't it pretty good? Got a little bit more gusto here.
Nice.
There we go.
Sweet.
Now, which one's which?
They should be.
This one's backwards.
Should say right hand, left hand on it, I think.
Left.
Perfect.
Right. Is that right?
Get your brake duct too.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
This should theoretically just slide right in place.
There we go.
Do we have a torque spec on this?
I believe it's in the directions.
I like that Steeda just provides a whole new arm, like on my BMW, we have to press the bearing out.
185.
And I think we'll stick with our plan of tightening everything up at the end. Okay, now we got our, whatever that thing's called. This thing is really impressing me. This little M12 guy. I don't think that's the right size. Okay, let's knock that sucker out. So look up what these things are called. Where's Jeff? So we can clarify what these arms are called.
Lateral link is the rear, the tension link is the front.
Okay,
So
so
this
tension
is
link arm,
tension link,
lateral link, and then bump steer. So is this another solid bushing we're putting in here?
The main benefit to this one is the extended ball joint.
So we're taking that out.
Which kind of moves things up. Here.
I see. Got it. Put that sucker back in there. This is great. This kind of stuff is fun when you take it out and put it back in. But I'm not counting my chickens yet.
Well, otherwise you'd have to press this factory one out and put the spherical in and
So now, there we go. Top bolt. All right,
cool.
let's drop that coilover out. I want to kind of tighten these up a little bit here. What size are these? Shoot, as soon as I touch it. I think it's still spinning the. We'll have to put a. I see. We'll just have to put a two ratchets on it.
Okay.
Okay, so
These two.
Got it.
You want to get the end link first?
Yeah.
You need a
Should we try
wrench
to
on the back.
Should we try to get that sway bar out of there? I bet you that thing just freaking yanks right off.
I know tightening it, you do need a wrench on the back.
Yeah. 18. Okay. And links off. these big boys.
24, I think.
I think we should probably go. Fit this in there.
So take
now
these.
They need to go.
Yeah.
Out.
So put this back on so you have a hammering surface, so you don't mushroom. And
This
then
won't just spin out.
it won't. It's splined in.
Yeah, you're right. That's no joke, huh? Let's get the big one. Jeez.
There, yeah. Sounds like it. There you go.
Ford built tough.
Yeah, really. F-150 or a Mustang?
All right. That's not too bad. Well, let's get this out, and then we'll get our sway bar out. So all we have left is the top three.
Yeah,
Top three
top
bolts.
three. It's not too bad.
So I think what we should do is we should take the other side apart, and then we'll feed our sway bar through.
Okay.
And then we'll put them both back together at the same time.
Okay.
You gonna grab the coilover in a second here. It's gonna drop down on us. Got it? Mm-hmm. There you go. Boom. We can tighten it on the car likely. So it came out this way, right?
Yeah.
The problem is you can't get, this is so stupid. Like you can't, you have to cut that hole in order to adjust your camber.
We sell a tool that cuts that hole. So
Can you cut it after the fact?
Yes.
Okay, well then shoot. Then we'll just,
It's just it's basically a drill bit with a Delrin bushing insert that fits inside this hole
yeah.
and centers it. And it goes right down. And you just blow it out with air afterwards.
So let's just set this right where it's at. We're going for guesswork camber here. So we'll have the same camber. If we push it all the way down.
It's going to be extremely negative or extremely positive. Like a tractor.
So let's tighten this down. Good thing we checked this.
Yes. Would have been making a lot of noise.
All right, let's put the sucker up in there. You want
Yeah.
to grab the top bolts?
I'm assuming this side's out. I'd have to assume.
Yeah, because that's our pattern is.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you're right, I guess. It probably only goes in one way, I would think. Guess we'll find out.
Good.
Looks pretty.
Would it be best to do the end lengths now or later?
Yeah. We should probably do the sway bar first. We might need all this room to snake that thing out of there.
Sway bar's fun.
All right, we know that fits. Let's take this thing back out.
Okay.
We know what we got now. So we'll take apart that other side. Where's the camera? So we'll take apart the other side in the same fashion, and we'll come back to you when we work on the sway bar. You want to get that end link off of there. So let's take the other end link off, and I'll start taking apart the other side, and we'll get moving.
Cool.
Now you get to take the intake back off. I'm not touching that thing. All right, what are we doing? Sway bar's out, or sway bar's disconnected.
The sway bar's disconnected, and now it's coming out one side.
Heave ho, Jeff, pull.
So yeah, one person feeds it through, the other one pulls it. Because the mounts will not come off on the stock bar.
Got it.
Push down on yours, Jeff. There you go. There you go. It's coming.
All right, don't go crazy. Let's get the other bar so we remember which way it frickin' came out. Ask me how I know this part. Our scissor lift's gonna get in the way. We're gonna have to sawzall it out. Where'd it freaking go? God dang it. Where'd it go?
On this one check.
Felt like 1 inch from it.
Oh, it's right there.
We want to grease up the mounts.
I don't remember how it goes.
naturally, like any production car nowadays, does have some understeer tuned into the chassis from the factory. So that's stock suspension, stock sway bars, the whole setup. The car will tend to understeer before it oversteers. Naturally, if you're building a track-oriented car, now you're going to have your own driving style, which as you get more track time, you'll get a feel for that. But to start, you want to tune out some of that understeer, meaning that you want the bar up front to be a little bit softer, so it digs and grabs that corner rather than being too stiff and just wants to push. So you have 4 holes up front on the Steeda front sway bar. We're going to put you kind of the default setting, which would be second softest. So that'll be second in from the outside.
Got it.
And then on the rear, there's 3 holes, and we'll put you in the center on the rear. And then from there, it's a super easy swap if you want to grab an 18mm wrench, 18mm socket. And if you're at the track and you're like, it's pushing too much, or I need more bar up front, it's a super easy swap. Just jack the car up and grab your wrench and socket to be able to take care of it. So you're going to want to grease the heck out. Now this is a lifetime grease.
Okay.
So you shouldn't have any issues. If you need us to send you more, that's not a problem. And then you get some on the bar too. This is ceramic coated? Are you serious?
I did it, I coated it a couple days ago.
That's awesome.
Even though no one will ever see it ever again, I like to be nice and shiny.
Hey, it's Steeda blue, that's all that matters, right? So this is the same, I mean, we use the same grease on our track car as well. That sees a ton of heat. You ready?
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready for you guys to do it.
I'm pretty sure you were ready an hour ago.
Keep going. Nah, just ram it in there. And you're hitting
the
whatever the belt thinger. Yep. Come on, straight. Okay, hold on. All right, kick it back a little bit. Okay, I'm through. Okay, now we're through.
Nice. All right. Good, you're perfect.
A lot of modifying going on in this place here today. You're cutting holes in my roof.
Thanks for taking the hard side.
these sides.
Where do you plan on racing?
Mainly PBIR and Sebring,
Nice.
with the occasional Daytona.
Do you race at all, Matt?
Nope. I race to Publix. Sometimes. Sometimes when I'm feeling good. I don't think this is gonna fit. Well, maybe it will. Yeah, it'll fit. Well, it looks pretty sharp under here. Yeah, I mean, they have the same holes. These are made for a Mustang. Here we go. Splinesters. Be careful I don't break off. This sucker does like a whole lot of foot pounders, pounds of feet.
Personally, working an end length, so those are only like 35 foot-pounds, not 800. So I'll give a reason high for it.
There we go. That sucker's in, bro.
On.
All right, everything's tight, mount-wise. Did you size them up with the stock ones?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I think they went this way, right?
Where's that ABS sensor line? Is that in between?
That's good.
Okay. Just making sure. $150.
Why am I laying down here doing this? What the heck am I doing? It's look pretty under here, man. Basically change every part. It's like the Civic. This gets me prepped for the Civic and the suspension overhaul. All right, so now I need to tighten all this stuff up. I think it was 130 something foot-pounds, he said. That feels about right. Oh no. Spinaroo. So I need a 21 and a 10.
No.
I'm incapable of figuring out which way is tightening and loosening. Yeah. Let's see, that's pretty tight.
How many Ugga Duggas?
3. So we'll have to work on that alignment. Put our ABS sensor back on. This is pretty rare that I'm able to just put this stuff where it needs to go. Good, good. Tight, tight, tight. Let me tighten these up in the back. Do this. This is my new favorite tool, other than the friction ring. It's a pretty serious bunch of crap we just did here today. Mormon spec calibration right there. Nothing touching. I can put the rotor back on. Ain't got no preload, bro.
Everything needs to be tightened down.
Other side's done. We've got to tighten the... I've really got to learn the names of all this stuff. You guys are going to be losing your crap. But we've got to tighten the top and bottom, so the top nut will spin. So we'll tighten the top down. It's a 19 and a 23, I believe it was, and then we'll tighten our steering bump steer kit here. So we'll tighten the jam nuts on both sides, tighten the bottom, and then I've got to tighten the bolts here and here, so our spline bolts are torqued down. So it actually worked out, so it did sort of pull. I was wondering if we needed some new bolts, but we were able to reuse the factory bolts here. And then the sway bar end link is tightened down as well, top and bottom. Does that look right? Yep, goes in the back side. So those rotors must be aftermarket rotors. Maybe not. There's no hole to put a set screw in. And we just go with some Mormon calibrated torque adjustments. Now we can tighten our last step. We tighten our jam nuts. 24, I believe. So 28 will sit on top here. And just tighten it down. Okay, so we're tight, 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 tight here, tight there, tight back there, and then these two jam nuts are tightened on our sway bar end link. We have some play in our end link, nothing touching, so we're good. So now let's put our rotor and caliper back on. And so what I was saying, there's no set screw on this car. Probably gonna have to do the old squeezeroo on the... Hope I don't need seat clamp out. That should be good. Like all these technical terms I'm using here today. Squeezeroo, is that a mechanic term? 15 mils. I'm gonna hold this all together. This was actually not as bad as I thought it was gonna be in the front. Hopefully the rear's easier, you think? Well, then heck. Maybe I shouldn't have been complaining so much. Although, we haven't put it down on the ground yet when everything falls apart. The intake isn't back in yet either. I just smile for the camera. See this smile? See how happy I am? He goaded me into it and he's saying, well, at least we have the camera. So they tricked me with the camera, saying that I'm not really a mechanic, a really bad mechanic. Although I don't think most schmoes would tackle this deal. As soon as I saw all those darn bushings, I'm like, oh boy, I'm frickin' screwed. Okay, only slightly wobbly.